Yeah, we're going to pull the hub off, and we want to pull that load cell out because we don't want to risk damaging that load cell there. All right, what we got going on here is noticed, say look on this side first. All right, see how much of a gap we got in between the tire and the buggy here. And then over here on this side, we hardly got any gap at all. And in fact, if you can, I don't know if you can tell, it's like the tires actually gotten into the side, rubbed the paint off. So I don't know if we got a wheel bearing down. I mean, we just checked the wheel bearings real good. Was it this winter or last winter? Well, one of the winters. Anyway, everything checked out A-OK. We did have to weld load cell there, and looks like there's a crack around it again. So don't really know why that is. So yes, first thing we're going to do, we're going to jack it up, see if we got any play in here, and then try to figure out exactly where it's coming from. Might have to pull off the tire too, so we might need. Yeah, I noticed the edge of this tire really scooting in. We got a good bit more gap now too. This thing's so dang heavy, I can't feel no slack. All right, come on in. Oh. All right, pick up. Yeah, I can see it doing this. All right, let it down. Pick it up. Yeah, I don't exactly know what's causing it. Something is though. Let me watch this spindle here. All right, pick it up. Down. Yeah, the problem is right here where this load cell bushing is got slack in here. I already tried to weld this once, and it's really hard to do it with this tire up in here, so I guess we'll take the tire off so I can get up in there a little bit easier and weld it better. I don't think the problem's the bearing. I think it's the spindle that the load cell goes in, the bushing, whatever, where that weld is cracked. So yeah, I can't hardly get in there with that tire on there to weld it good, so we'll pull the tire off and try and get in there. So back out, and we'll take these nuts loose and get the tire off. All right, the problem is not only weld back here on the back side, but it's welded all the way around on the front side, and that's broke. So weld on the back ain't gonna do no good unless we weld this on the front too. So to do that, yeah, we're going to pull the hub off, and we want to pull that load cell out because we don't want to risk damaging that load cell there. Hopefully it's fairly free in there. We'll find out. All right, we finally got the load cell out. We have not been able to get this big sleeve off the load cell yet. I'm letting some penetrating oil soak in there, but basically this entire load cell fits up in this sleeve right here, and then this sleeve is the axle housing here. You can see how all this is, you know, hollow in there. It's not a complete steel tube, and that sleeve is what the load cell rides in, and it's just you can see where it was welded around here and on the other side, and those welds finally failed, and that's what's letting the axle kind of do that right there. So the hardest part's going to be getting that sleeve off, and then we got to get this cleaned up, all the old weld, get the sleeve positioned exactly right, and then weld it up again, and hopefully do a better job welding this time than what I did last time. All right, we got our sleeve cleaned up here, got all this V'd out, got all the old welds ground off, and I'm gonna try and put a real good solid bead of weld around there. I got it wedged up just a little bit there to try and take that slack out, because I don't want it pulled down here towards the bottom and then the pressure constantly being on it up. That's probably what broke it last time. So we're gonna try and weld it to the top here to where the welds aren't actually supporting the weight. All right, Andy got all the bearings and everything cleaned up, old grease, the hub. We got our sleeve welded back in there. Ain't the prettiest of welds, but use 70-18 rods, put 2 beads around it. Think it ought to hold at least better than the last one. There on the back side. So just letting it cool down a few minutes, then we'll coat the inside with anti-seize, put our load cell back on there, and start reassembling all of it. Come on, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules.
I can't do it, so it's gonna have to be you, bro. Oh no. Oh no. There it goes.
Go ahead and flex for the ladies.
Hercules. No, you're laughing, it don't work. It's not on there.
Take them to the gun show. I mean, it's the seal rides right there. It doesn't go all the way up there.
I was thinking so, but...
There you go. It's up there. Now we just got to pack the other bearing and stick it in there. All right, believe it's got this thing fixed up and ready to go for tomorrow. But as you see, it's about to get dark. No sense going trying to open up a new field when it's about to be dark, especially with all the tree limbs we're seeing been blown down this summer. Last thing I need to do is run one up in the head and tear some snouts up. So, but anyway, I had another offer this afternoon to go use a piece of equipment, one that I think really gonna help us out. So, in the meantime, that's what I'm gonna do. So. See you back out in the field here in a few minutes. My, what do we have here? Looky here. While we fixing on the grain buggy, my good friend Jordan and his wife Hannah stopped in and happened to mention that they had their ripper over here and knew that I was maybe interested in doing a little bit of ripping, maybe some test plots on our farm. This video or last video or a couple of videos ago, I mentioned the first half of that farm that we started on, Ferguson Farm. I was going to plow up, try and break up any hard pans, maybe mix the soil just because it's not yielding what it's supposed to be. And my plan was, because I don't have a ripper, was I was going to use a chisel plow. Well, you know, chisel plow, you're going to have to make a pass with a disc and a do-all to smooth it back out and everything, multiple trips. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do all this, how we're going to get cover crops planted, how we're going to get soybeans cut, cotton defoliated, because all this stuff's coming to head real quickly. And Jordan them stopped by and said, you know, if I wanted to use it, hop on the tractor and go use it. So they're done for the day. No sense in us starting a new farm, so I'm going to hop on this thing, see what kind of job it's going to do on that half of the Ferguson farm. Going to be a huge time saver, because this ripper is a really low disturbance ripper, and hopefully all we got to do is rip it, and then we can come in and drill our cover crops over the top of it, and won't have to do any other kind of seedbed prep to smooth it back out. So definitely means less tillage passes. Gonna leave a lot more residue on the soil, a lot less chance of erosion and everything. So plus I get to drive a big tractor. Got a Case IH Magnum 340 here, and Jordan says what little ripping he's done with this thing in a couple spots out here in his field, it's stalled the tractor out. It's putting a pretty dang big load on the tractor. This ground is perfect for ripping. I mean, it is just, I mean, it's dry as a bone, rock hard. You're gonna get real good shatter out of it, and we'll see if this fixes my low yielding problems over there on the Ferguson farm. So let's get on and get after it. Man alive, this thing still got new tractor smell. I think this is his second year running this, maybe third. It's not that old. It definitely sounds a little bit stouter than my tractors. It's got about 100 more horsepower than those bigger New Hollands that I run. Of course, those New Hollands that I run would be equivalent to a Puma series in the Case IH, not the Magnums. If I wanted the equivalent New Holland of a Magnum size, I'd have to be in the T8 series. Oh, got the new Pro 1200 monitor. Woo, this is nice. It's real nice. Plus, it's got a power shift. We're always used to running CVT, so I'll do a little figuring out on this thing. Just show me what gear I'm in. Up there. Where's the downshift? There we go. Like riding a bike. All right, let's get on over to the Ferguson farm and set this thing down on the ground before it gets dark, so I can show you exactly what it's doing. Alright, this thing's got some kind of automatic gear selector on it to maintain speed. I'm not sure how that works. Waiting on Jordan to call me back, but we'll just put her in low gear here and set her down in the ground. Oops. Wrong button. Well, she's spinning. Because we're right here on the inroads where we do all of our loading and everything, and if there's a compacted place on the farm, it's right here. All right, let's get down here and see what it looks like. Like I said, right here, we're at the field edge. Just right here is where we do all of our loading. And I know this is probably harder than concrete. Anyway, we got her sunk down there in the ground, and you see that lifting right there? I mean, this is probably about 4 inches higher than this right here. It's slicing through there, and look, I mean, it's just bringing up slabs of compacted soils. But it's doing what we need it to do. And all out in there, I know there's probably some compaction, because, you know, we come up this way with the grain buggy and stuff, and I know there's probably some compaction, but like this whole flat area out here should be extremely high yielding. There's good topsoil, hadn't been a whole lot of erosion, but for whatever reason, it's just not yielding. It stays wet, the water doesn't percolate through the soil real well, and it's just not yielding good. So basically, you know, this farm goes over here, and basically it's about halfway. This whole side of the farm is yielding lower than what it should, even for poor soil, where the right half of the farm is doing a lot is doing pretty good, which there's a lot more traffic over here. So this whole left-hand side of the farm, probably about 50 acres, we're going to try and rip it, and then next year we'll see if there's any kind of yield on the non-ripped soil versus the ripped soil, and see what kind of job it does. But the good thing about this inline ripper is it's fracturing all the subsoil and everything, but it's still leaving a lot of residue, and it's not destroying all of my soil structure on top, and not going to burn up all the organic matter. A lot of that's still going to be good, but we're going to breaking up that hard pans to where when we do plant our cover crop, which will be real soon, our cover crops can go ahead and put roots down through all these channels that the ripper is creating, and it'll keep that soil open. If we were just to run the ripper and then let it sit there all winter with nothing growing on it, well, the soil has a tendency to collapse back in on itself and become compacted again. So we're going to do this hopefully as a one-time deal, get our cover crops on it, and we're going to keep something growing on it pretty much year-round from here on out to get roots down deeper into the soil and keep those pores and stuff open to where hopefully we won't have a compaction problem again. Now right here, yeah, we're going to have a compaction problem. We're going to have trucks in and out. We're going to have module trucks in and out, and this is going to get compacted again. But hopefully all the rest of the field will be a lot higher yielding, and we'll be able to keep it higher yielding. So we got about 45 acres in front of us. It's about to get dark. Let's get after it. Well, I definitely got issues over here. This soil is bringing this 340 to its knees in places. 3.3 miles an hour, occasionally get up to 4.5 miles an hour is what this thing is capable of at 100% engine load and a lot of wheel slippage. And I've stalled this thing out, I don't know how many times. See, it almost come to a standstill right there. And we're right here, I mean, on probably some of the worst yielding spots of this farm. This little spot on top of this knoll has just been extremely poor, and hard soil, fragipan, compaction, mixture of all of them is the cause of it. It's neat to watch that thing work though. You can see it just lifting the soil up, knowing it's getting down there deep and fracturing all that. We're gonna have cotton on this farm next year, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how that cotton does, because we never have made real good cotton on this farm. So really hoping this helps solve some of the issues we've been having over here. Well, it's about midnight. I think I'm about to call it a day. This has been painfully slow going. I mean, pulling this thing at an average speed, probably 3.5 miles an hour, probably about 25% wheel slip. I know it's doing some good, but man, it's burning the fuel and it's taking forever. And Jordan, man, I'm sorry how hard this thing's pulling this tractor. I know you told me to run it and it wasn't gonna hurt it, but man, I feel ashamed the way this thing's been pulling this tractor. But it's been getting the job done. I know my tractors would not have a chance at all to pull this thing. I will say this is a super nice tractor. Hey, come, I just killed it again. I will say this is a super nice tractor. It rides quite a bit better than mine does. I've pretty much gotten the absolute worst spot on this farm done. I've gotten maybe 20 acres done. If I have a chance the next couple nights, Jordan told me I'd get the tractor. If I get in early enough to where I can do some good, I'll go get it and try to do a few more acres here and there. I knew this ground was hard and tight over here. I didn't know it was this bad though. So anyway, I'll see y'all back here in the morning. Hopefully get some more corn going in the bin now that we got everything fixed and ready to go. Well, pigweed control doesn't stop at before harvest. See one out here, especially this one. You're looking at a female plant here. It's got no telling how many seeds on it. Probably already dropped a few. We're gonna yank her up and throw her over there in the weeds. All right, you kind of see those black specks right there. That's mature pigweed seed right there. So this plant's probably loaded up, and I don't want to be fighting these for the next 3 years. Let's see if she can germinate in all the ragweed and other bushes. Well, we finally got rolling again today. We had kind of a late start to the day. When I got back to the shop last night about midnight to fuel Jordan's tractor up, I noticed one of the gauge wheel tires on that ripper was off the rim, and I spent about 45 minutes trying to remount it until I finally realized that there was a gash in the sidewall I could poke my hand through. How that happened, I don't know. I guess one of these sharp corn stalks caught it just the right way. So I had to go get a new tire mounted for it this morning, but way back rolling again, man. I tell you what, I am tired. And I feel probably about as beat up as George's tractor does. All that jerking back and forth, getting to them hard spots. I'm not used to that. I feel absolutely terrible about that tractor. I ain't never pulled a tractor that hard in my life. I feel terrible doing that to the tractor. But Jordan said do it. That's what it was built for. So it did. It definitely did the job. Hopefully tonight he'll still have it up here, and I'll be able to go grab it again and work some more on that farm. I really think it's doing some good. Anyway, we got moved over here to the Fisher farm. Got a different variety. We got all of our 65-95 cut, and now we're working on decal 67-44. I've been real excited to see. I've been seeing it in my Pioneer plots as a control, and also the UT variety plots for quite a few years now, and it's always been up there at the top. Really high yielder, 117-day corn. And got a chance to try it this year, and I put it on some of my better ground. Now this farm right here, all we cut so far has been the real thin poor ground, but once we cross the creek over here, get down this bottom, we get to see what this stuff can do. And I imagine, even though Andy's only got about a mile and a half drive back to the green beds, I have a feeling when I get this bottom, I'm gonna be doing some waiting. Man, it's a long ways out there trying to get one row lined up. About needing my binoculars. I tell you one thing about this 67-44, it sure sounds a lot different going through the combine. It about sounds like I'm running some concrete cinder blocks through there. There's some big old honking ears going through there. Can't even hardly hear myself talk. But so far, I've been impressed. This poor field we cut, it surprised me how good it was. And now that we got down here in the bottom, I mean, it's consistently doing 230, 250. I mean, it's outstanding. Now the moisture's done jumped up on it a little bit, so I had, even though our bin 3 is only about, maybe filled up about 60% of the way, I don't want to put wetter grain on top of a little bit drier grain, so I had Andy swap the bin 4, and then once we get back into some drier corn, we still got some Pioneer 114-day corn, we'll go back to 3 and fill it up. That way it ought to help it dry evenly. A whole lot easier to dry wet grain on the bottom and have drier grain on top than the other way around. Bin manager will do it, it just takes a little longer to do it. Whew. That corn wanted to bring my combine to its knees. I started unloading over to go. It's pulling more than 100% engine power. This decal 67-44 is some tough corn. High yielding corn, but she's still green, even though my moisture's not too bad. The old header's taking a lot of power to chew those stalks down through. Let's see if we get this buggy topped off. Yeah, she's jumped up there about 110% engine load. This big head and this extremely high yielding corn. It might be a load on this combine, but I'd rather crawl along at 2.8 to 3 miles an hour rather than having to blast through here at 5.5 to 6 miles an hour like I did with my old 6-row head, and still wasn't able to keep the combine really full. That's a load there. I'm sure Kelly probably got some choice words for me. I tell you what, with the way this stuff sounds going through my combine, it sure sounds like I'm going to have to replace all the threshing elements whenever we get done with corn. And it sounds like a ton of bricks just going through there, just beating my combine to death. I know it's not, but man, that's what it sounds like. It's been a while since we heard that sound. We sure didn't hear it last year.